the gifted class. So here we're learning about breathing. Do you notice how large the lungs are? That's the most important organ in the body for breathing. But we need the nose, the mouth, the pharynx, the larynx, the trachea, and the diaphragm, and the lungs are all involved. The diaphragm is the strong muscle that pushes the lungs up and down to ensure they expand and contract as the person breathes. Do you notice the heart is tucked neatly under the lungs? That's so that it's ready to pump the oxygenated blood around the body. Right, let's have a look when the person breathes in through their nostrils. We'll see now as they inhale through the nostrils, the air travels down the pharynx. There it comes, pharynx, larynx, down the trachea and into the lungs. When the oxygen enters the lungs, it travels through small branch-like structures called the bronchioles, and it reaches the alveoli. The alveoli are covered in blood capillaries, and that's where the oxygen is absorbed. Now let's watch what happens when he breathes out. The capillaries have now released carbon dioxide back into the lungs after it's been pumped around the body, and the person exhales by pushing the carbon dioxide out, up through the trachea and out through the nostrils and the mouth. Gaseous exchange happened in the lungs, where the O2 was absorbed and the CO2 was released back into the lungs. The oxygen is then transported to the rest of the body where cellular respiration happens in order for our organs to work. So here we can look a little bit closer. There's another important part involved in breathing that we need to know about. So just below, look carefully, just below the larynx and the pharynx, there's an epiglottis. Okay. The epiglottis is a little valve. It's required because when we eat, our food needs to go down the esophagus, whereas when we breathe, our air needs to go down the trachea. So that valve, the epiglottis, closes to ensure that we don't choke on our food, which does occasionally happen if a little piece has snuck past the epiglottis. If you look at the lungs, you'll see the nice bronchioles there. Let's have a closer look now inside the lungs. Right, the lungs are filled with alveoli, which are grape-shaped structures, but they are spongy. So the oxygen is absorbed into the capillaries.